Hello everyone, welcome back to SOWJANYA PATNAIK Biology Tutorial. So in this channel we are going to learn about uh, biology related to NEET. Okay, so today's class we are going to discuss body fluids and circulation. So in this chapter we will learn about body fluids such as blood and lymph, and also the composition of the body fluids and the use of the body fluids, how they are useful, what is the role played by them, and also the heart. The most important pumping organ in the human body is the heart. So the structure of the heart, function of the heart, and also the cardiac cycle, how it works. So everything and disorders, everything we will learn in this chapter. Blood Blood is called as fluid connective tissue. Blood is called as fluid connective tissue. Okay, blood is called as fluid connective tissue. This blood contains fluid matrix, plasma. The fluid matrix, nothing but plasma, plus blood also contains formed elements. Blood also contains formed elements. So, blood is a fluid connective tissue and blood contains fluid matrix. The fluid matrix of the blood is called plasma. Blood also contains formed elements. Okay. 55% of the blood is having plasma. Plasma is a straw-colored fluid, and it is viscous in texture. That means it can flow. Viscous fluid, and it can flow. Flowing consistency, it can flow. The composition of plasma, if you observe, 90 to 92% of plasma contains water. 90 to 92% of plasma contains water, and 6 to 8% of plasma contains proteins. So, there are different types of proteins present in the plasma. So, the first type of proteins are fibrinogens, globulins, albumins. These are major proteins present in the plasma. So, fibrinogen is useful for blood clotting of the blood. Globulins are useful for defense mechanism, to protect our body. Okay, defense mechanism. And albumins are useful for maintaining the blood volume. Nothing but like osmotic concentration, you can say. So maintains blood volume. Okay, so these are the major proteins present in the plasma and their functions. Okay, now in detail, if you observe the composition of the blood and the plasma, as I said earlier, blood contains 55% of plasma and blood contains 45% of formed elements. They are nearly 45%. And in this plasma we have water, we have proteins, and also we have other solutes. So How much water is present? Already we discussed 90 to 92% of water is present in plasma. What about proteins? What are the different types of proteins present in plasma? So already we discussed albumins are present in plasma, fibrinogens are present in plasma, and also globulins are present in plasma. These are the major proteins. Along with these albumins, fibrinogens and globulins, some other proteins are also present in plasma, other proteins. Now coming to the solutes, which plays a very important role. These solutes consist of electrolytes, nutrients, gases, waste substances, or you can say metabolic wastes. So this is the composition of blood. Okay, blood plasma you can say. So how the albumin is useful for us? Albumin is useful to maintain the osmotic pressure, or maintains blood volume. You can say osmotic pressure also. Okay, globulins are nothing but antibodies, immunoglobulins. Okay, so what is the use of antibodies? Antibodies are useful to provide immunity. Antibodies are useful to provide immunity. To protect our body against the antigens, to protect our body against the microorganisms. So antibodies are produced in our body. These antibodies structurally they are made up of proteins. Which type of proteins? Globulins, also called as immunoglobulins. Okay, fine. And fibrinogen is useful for blood clotting protein. Okay, so these are the functions. Now actually the blood, remember the very important point, blood clotting factors are present in the blood itself. The blood clotting factors, there are many blood clotting factors present in the blood. These blood clotting factors are inactive state in the plasma. Inactive state. So whenever it is required, then this inactive blood clotting factors becomes active. So blood clotting factors are inactive in plasma, are present in inactive form in the plasma. Okay, another important point is blood plasma without clotting factors. If I remove clotting factors from the blood plasma, then that is called serum. Blood plasma without clotting factors, that is called serum. So I can write here plasma minus clotting factors gives serum. Very important. Plasma minus clotting factors gives serum. Okay. Now, so this is about plasma. Now, albumins present in the plasma. These albumins are the smallest proteins. They are the smallest proteins. Albumins are the smallest proteins. And also, albumins are produced in liver. Very important. Albumins are produced in liver. Okay. Next, albumins also acts as transport proteins. Albumins acts as transport proteins. For what? For steroid hormones and for fatty acids. So albumins are the smallest proteins. They are produced in liver and they are also acting as transport proteins for steroidal hormones and also fatty acids. That means they are carrying the steroid hormones and fatty acids along with them. They are useful for transportation of steroid hormones and fatty acids. So albumins act as transport proteins for steroid hormones and fatty acids. Okay, so what we learn now? Plasma minus clotting factors gives you serum. So coming to the proteins present in the plasma, albumins. Albumins are the smallest proteins. Albumins are produced in the liver and they are acting as transport proteins. Why the albumins acting as transport proteins? They are useful for carrying the fatty acids as well as steroid hormones along with them. Okay, that is about albumins. Now coming to globulins. Okay. Globulins are also produced by liver. Globulins are also produced by liver and also plasma cells. Okay. Now, the globulins are different types. They are like alpha globulins, beta globulins. Alpha globulins, beta globulins. What is the use of these globulins? They also useful for transportation of iron, lipid and fat soluble vitamins. So globulins are different types like alpha globulins, beta globulins. They are also produced by liver and globulins are produced by plasma cells. Globulins also helps in the transportation of iron, lipid, fat soluble vitamins. Please note down. Okay. Now, about fibrinogen. Fibrinogens are also produced by liver. Okay, fibrinogen is also produced by liver. Next, one more important point here I would like to say, angiotensinogen. That is actually helpful in the excretion process. In the RAS mechanism of excretion, we have this angiotensinogen. Okay, so angiotensinogen used in excretion, which is used in excretion. This angiotensinogen which is used in excretion also produced by the liver. Okay, so angiotensinogen is useful for excretion process which is involved in RAS mechanism in the excretion process. That is also produced by liver, and remember angiotensinogen is also a protein. Okay, fine. So liver is the one which is producing all the proteins like albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, angiotensinogen. Very, very important. So this is about the proteins present in the blood plasma. Proteins present in the blood plasma. So in the next session we will continue with formed elements. Thank you everyone.